Hello and welcome to our Daily Connections. I'm Tracy Crespo, your host. I'm so glad you joined us. On today's show, we'll get some guidance on finding balance in our lives. If your life feels out of balance, like there's little time for the things that are important to you, perhaps you could use a little C.P.R. No, it's not for your heart. Instead, what may need resuscitating is how you spend your time. So here with insight on gaining balance and living life to the fullest is certified empowerment coach Hueina. She is president of the Beyond Horizon Coaching. Hello there.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
This is good stuff. We love this stuff. So why don't we start with, why don't you tell me the common symptoms of burnout?
You know, Tracy, I see this all the time when I work with my clients. And a lot of people don't realize they are heading toward burnout or they are actually, burned out. And there are a lot of symptoms, the telltale signs that you can see, like physical symptoms, like you feel like headache all the time, you feel like, palpitation or, stomach upset. You could be having a lot of tension in your neck and shoulder and lower back pain. That's very common. And then the psychological symptoms, you feel like just a sense of unhappiness. You feel stressed out and depressed. You might feel irritable. You might feel like you're constantly in PMS mode.
Right. What would you say is work-life balance? What is that?
Yeah, it's kind of a myth that people think that, something that I can work at, and once I get there, I will have it forever.
Always be there.
yeah, that would be nice. But
it would be nice.
That's not the case, though.
Right.
It's something. Work-life balance is something that you have to work on constantly, and it requires a lot of intention and focus, and really just you have to have make a conscious choice about what you really want out of life.
Right, I got that. Now, you also say about taking a holistic point of view toward the life balance. Can you go into a little more detail with that?
Yeah, sure. When I work with clients, I always start with a way of life assessment.
Okay.
Because we want to look at life from a holistic point of view.
Okay.
In our life, we have several different areas. Personal development. We have family and parenting. We have your health, of course.
Sure.
And your career, your finance, your community involvement, or your social relationships or intimate relationships. And these are all very important aspects of your life. And we want to take a look at every area of your life. And because the reason is that we cannot change one area of your life without affecting all the others.
Got it.
It's all interconnected.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, you suggest that individuals approach balance through your model of C.P.R. balance. Why don't you start telling me a little bit about that? What does the C stand for in that?
The C stands for choose consciously.
Okay.
Most people, live either in the past or in the future.
Good point.
and what I mean by that is that, a lot of people live in regret. They are thinking about,
what they
could
have
done, and then, or they are living in the future, not in a good sense. They're worrying about future, about what hasn't happened yet.
Got it.
And so, but the thing is that we only have, right now, we only have the present moment.
Got it.
And now is all there ever is.
This is true.
Yeah.
So be in the present, pretty much, is what
be in the present and making a conscious choice about, really living in the present moment and living your life according to your choice, according to what's important to you, instead of living in the past or in the future.
Right. Well, that's really good. So C is the choose consciously.
Yes.
Choosing, literally, to be in the present and make those choices accordingly.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how about P? Prioritize according to core values.
Yeah. When we make our priorities, sometimes we tend to make it, according to what other people expect us to do.
Very good point.
Or, what you think you should be doing.
Right.
Yeah. But what I tell my clients to do is really think about what's really important to you.
Okay.
Think about maybe top 5 core values.
Got it.
That's most important to you. Maybe family is most important to you. Maybe your career, maybe health, or maybe friendship is very important.
Right.
Or how about having fun? You know, a lot of my
Exactly.
clients don't have fun at all.
Nobody's having fun anymore.
No fun, and it's just like, you know, when you look at their way of life that we mentioned earlier.
Love this.
And I ask people to give a score of each area of their life, and then connect the dots. You know, how satisfied you are in each area. So 1 is like the least satisfied.
Okay.
You're totally unhappy. And 10 is that you're very satisfied in that area. So this is what I see a lot, is that people might have, you know, very successful career, and they are great parents, and they, you know, they have spiritual awareness. They go to church, or they do a lot of reading about spiritual growth. And then there's no fun.
I see that big problem with that wheel. Can't drive with that wheel.
So this is where we start to look at where you are right now in your life. And with coaching is I help people to find out where they are in their life and where they want to be. And then we connect the dots.
And then we modify.
And then we have to keep modifying, come up with an action plan, and keep modifying where you are going. But this gives you a whole picture of where you are right now.
Got it.
And so if you think about your life as a car, and you put this new wheel on the car, how bumpy is your ride going to be?
Very, very bumpy.
Yeah, so when I show this to my client, they get that right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
A good visual example of where I'm at in my life and where I'm missing.
Yeah.
So then the next one, R, for the C.P.R. Reframe your perspective. Is that what we would do next, pretty much?
Yeah, you know, sometimes in life, there's things that you cannot control, right? And everything we experience is really a combination of the event itself, what actually happened, and our response to that. That's our interpretation, and that's the story we made up.
In our head.
We're always making up stories, right? And so sometimes you cannot change the event itself.
Got it.
But you can change the story in your head. Yeah, you can change how you look at it.
And how I'm responding
and how
to what
you
just happened
responded
to me.
to it. And then you will get a different outcome, a different experience.
So for example, like if I lost my job or something like that, is that a good example of, you know, how to modify something?
Yeah, and that might be, you know, sometimes I always say that, you know, everything happened for a reason. And there's always a blessing
in there,
in everything.
Somewhere.
Maybe you can't see it right there. But I'm sure you've experienced sometimes something happened in the past, and you think that, oh, that's the horrible thing, that's the worst thing that happened to me.
Right.
But then when you look back to it, you know, maybe years from then you say, oh, that's probably the best thing. The best
thing that happened to me. You know, it's funny that you say that, because how many times have we all done that? You know, I know, for example, I do that, you know, right, you look at 2 years ago and you said, wow, that really was the best thing that happened to me. Even though when you're in the heat of the situation,
you couldn't see it.
Just horrible.
Of course.
I have an example yesterday. I got hit my car.
Oh,
and somebody smashed me, and that's exactly what I tried to be positive. I'm like, let me count my blessings here instead of being so negative. So things like that, just kind of changing the way I'm looking at what happened to me is a good place to start.
And always look for opportunities, you know, and always look for blessings, or maybe there's a lesson to be learned. Maybe there's
learning opportunities.
Maybe that's something that will help you grow as a person. And so I always say that, you know, there's a saying, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
I like that. That's a great tip. And on that note, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This went way too quickly. So really let go and have peace, and really just think about how I want to react to the things, and that's going to really start to change things right away.
Oh yeah, sometimes you got to let go of some things, you know. And a lot of things that I mentioned, you know, because sometimes we're too attached to the outcome or the expectations, and then we end up feeling stressed out, and we feel unhappy and resentful. So a couple of examples of what you can let go to have more peace and joy in your life is, you know, for example, let go of being right all the time. And
don't have to be right all the time.
Yeah, and you want to choose to be happy or to be right.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, you are very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Thanks.